Hello and welcome back to the third rail. We have another new addition to the collection this week. I just received this little class 323 of the Deutsche Bundesbahn, also known as Köf II, and I thought we should have a first look at it together. First, let's have a quick model overview as usual. This model first appeared in the 1988 edition of the Märklin catalogue. You'll find it on page 15 of the catalogue that year under model number 3680. The catalogue description mentions that the model was produced in cooperation with Brava, another model railway manufacturer based not far away from Göppingen, where Märklin is based. Brava had been producing a few models of Köf engines since 1984, also in an alternative current version for the three-rail system. I don't know exactly what the contract between the two companies says, but the 1988 versions of the Köf II are very similar indeed, and reading up a bit it seems that the main difference is the motorization and the decoder. As far as the distribution of tasks is concerned, I think Brava did most of the work, from the design to the production of the model, leaving the packaging to Märklin. From 1989 until 1993, a second version of the model was available on the catalogue. The only difference with the first one is a small change in the lettering on the side. There's a BW Husum mention, which is in uppercase on the version 1, and on version 2 the W is in lowercase. On to a few vital statistics. The model measures 7.4 centimeters buffer to buffer. It is fitted with a high-performance miniature motor, which is controlled by a 6080 Märklin decoder. It has two driven axles. None of the wheels are equipped with traction tires. Instead, magnets are fitted under the locomotive to improve its adherence to the track. The model is fitted with a few headlights, but none of them are working. They're just there for decoration. The model is also fitted with relax couplings at both ends. There are a few party tricks to look out for this model. The first one is a working motor fan. Nothing digital going on there, it's just a fan attached to one of the shafts of the motor, and it's permanently on. You have to look very close to see it though, considering the size of the model. The second party trick is the cab lighting, which is done with a couple of yellow LEDs and can be controlled via the function key on the digital command station. Let's have a look at the prototype now with a few facts for context. So this is a Köf II Baureihe 323. The K stands for Klein Lok, which means small locomotive. The locomotives may be small, but the topic is very vast indeed. The concept for these locomotives dates back to the 1920s and was a direct response to a new challenge faced by the railways at the time. This challenge came in the form of the lorry, which was competing with the railways on local routes for the delivery of goods. A way to make the delivery of these goods more economical for the railways was to introduce a lighter engine capable of pulling one or two wagons and be driven by less qualified personnel. Numerous experiments with all sorts of vehicles were conducted throughout the 1920s, and the concept proved quite popular. So much so that a requirement for such a vehicle was included in the standard locomotive program of the Deutsche Reichsbahn. And this is where the design of our class 323 originated. The classification and naming of this type of engines originated in the program. We had three classes based on power, class 1, 2 and 3, one being less than 40 horsepower, 2 above 40 horsepower and 3 above 150 horsepower. At the same time, a naming convention was introduced based on abbreviations to allow the easy identification of the various types of engine and motorizations. Köf is an abbreviation and stands for K Klein Locomotive, small locomotive. O umlaut is Ölmotor, so oil engine, diesel engine. F stands for Flüssigkeitsgetriebe, which means hydraulic transmission. Over the years, thousands of units were produced and used both by the Deutsche Bundesbahn and the industry in Germany and abroad. Let's move our attention back to our little BR323. It was delivered to the Deutsche Bundesbahn in 1955 and carried the registration number Köf 6222. It was located in the north of Germany for most of its life in a region called the Schleswig-Holstein. In 1968, the locomotive received a new classification number, the 323530-6. The locomotive remained in service until 1987 and was dismantled in 1988. The Köf II remained in service for the Deutsche Bundesbahn or the Deutsche Bahn AG until 1999. After that, a lot of units were transferred into private ownership, either in the industry in Germany or in other companies around the globe, where they can still be found until today. As mentioned earlier, the topic is quite vast, and there is a very good resource called deutschekleinachs.de, which contains a real trove of information if you're interested. I've put links to this and other sources in the description of the video. Right, it's time to look at my 3680 now. So mine is a version 2. As you can see, it came in its original box, which is the right one, 3680 BR323. All okay. So that's a digital model. The box is in good shape for its age. It's not that old, only about 33, 34 years now. Yeah, all in good shape. So let's have a quick look inside and see what expects us. So we have the plastic inlay or blister pack, which is still intact. We also have some instructions. Bonus makes the thing more original, and actually the instructions in that model are a bit more useful than previous ones. And let's take the model out and put it on its presentation rail to have a closer look. But it doesn't look too bad from here. Right, we're all set up now, and my first impression is that this little thing is absolutely cute or gorgeous, and that it's also very tiny. As far as condition is concerned, I cannot see anything wrong with it. All the applied details are still where they should be. There's no breaks anywhere, and the paint looks to be in very good to excellent order. I can't see any scratch. If we zoom in onto the radiator grille, we can see the fan I mentioned earlier. It's actually so tiny that it would be difficult to see when the engine is running. As far as the rest of the engine is concerned, it's pretty much the same story. Nothing to report or complain about. Right, let's have a quick look at the roof. There we have a tiny scratch towards the bottom of the picture. Apart from that, everything seems to be in order, and the undercarriage is fine too. Time to have a look at how this little thing behaves on the layout. And there we are near the layout. To give you an idea of the size of the model, I've put it in my hand, and as you can see, it's absolutely tiny. Right, let's rail it and see how it behaves. Right, I'm going to give it a bit of power. We are moving forwards, that's good, and backwards, excellent. It's operational. Well, I'm quite pleased with my purchase. No need for rolling stock recommendations on this one, so I'm gonna leave it at this for today. I'd like to thank you very much for watching, it's very much appreciated. I'd also like to thank all the subscribers to the channel. It's very nice to see that people are interested by the content I produce, so much so that they subscribe, hit the notification bell, and sometimes even give me a like. That's all very rewarding and keeps me going. Thank you very much for this. Bye for now.